There is something about a YouTuber turned filmmaker story that puts a smile on my face. Not because I'm delusional enough to think it'll happen to me, but because it's just a feel-good story to think about someone who came from nothing, made their own luck, and then made their dreams come true. So yes, it's impossible to discuss Iron Lung without discussing the very feel-good, inspiring story behind it. YouTuber Markiplier is a truly self-made guy. He seems likable enough, and instead of working within the studio system, he financed, directed, and wrote this movie all on his own. He chose not to work within the studio system or let someone else take the fall. The true definition of putting your money where your mouth is. What's more than that, this movie was originally meant to only release in about 200 theaters, but the response from Markiplier's followers was so strong that this ended up getting a wide release. Fast forward to 2026 and this little movie that could becomes the #1 film at the box office. I mean, it's hard not to appreciate that on a personal level. But ultimately, we're here to review movies, not inspirational stories, and I can't help but feel like a lot of people have been giving this movie grace because of the story behind it, because Markiplier seems like such a likable guy, because the off-screen story is truly way more inspirational and entertaining than any of the story that occurs on screen, if you can even call it that. Based on the cult classic video game of the same name, Iron Lung stars director Markiplier as Simon, aka the Convict. In this movie, survivors of the apocalypse send a convict in a small submarine to explore a desolate moon that's an ocean of blood. And if it sounds like I literally picked that synopsis out of the internet, that's because I literally did. Why, you ask? Because this movie makes no freaking sense. If you've played the video game, I'm sure this was early Christmas for you, and hey, I'm happy for you. But if, like most people, such as myself, you haven't, then you left this movie being like, what the hell did I just watch? A great film appeals to both newcomers and longtime fans alike. You don't have to pick up a comic to know that Batman Begins is just a great film. But with Iron Lung, Markiplier made a movie that truly feels like it exists only to appeal to those familiar with the game. And if you haven't played the game, the most you can do is cut through the bad sound mixing and the clunky dialogue to try to piece some semblance of sense together. Markiplier himself previously streamed this game on his channel, and that makes a whole lot of sense. Because the experience of watching this movie feels like you are plucked from the street and randomly dropped into a Let's Play video with commentary that is nowhere near as interesting as what you would find in a Let's Play video. The vast majority of this movie is spent watching Markiplier in the lead role do menial tasks. Here's Markiplier looking at a computer. Here's Markiplier writing things down. And now it's possible for me to find value in a movie even if it doesn't personally speak to me, but when I was watching Markiplier do all of these menial tasks on screen, I ended up asking myself, who is this for? Yes, the lady a few rows behind me at the cinema said damn when Markiplier took his shirt off, but outside of diehard Markiplier fans and Iron Lung fans who just froth at the idea of seeing this on screen, like, who's truly gonna find value in this movie? There's not a whole lot of value in seeing someone do boring stuff on the screen, especially when they're played with the charisma of a potato. There's a voice role and the odd cameo here and there, but for the most part, I mean 85% of this movie is just Markiplier alone in the submarine. And hey, I got no problems with a one movie, one location, one actor kind of thing. Buried starring Ryan Reynolds is about a guy trapped in a coffin the whole film, and it's just great. Lock starring Tom Hardy is a dude in a car, and I mean, it was at least watchable. Why, you ask? Because you had a great lead actor at the center. Unfortunately, to no one's surprise, Markiplier is no Ryan Reynolds and is no Tom Hardy. And if he's surrounded by people who convinced him he has the acting chops to carry a whole film alone, I think he's surrounded by way too many yes men. Especially when he tries to be an intimidating, gruff action hero. I mean, don't get me wrong, his crying is almost just as bad, but the whole, hey, I'm a lead actor voice that he does in the movie, it just doesn't work. Visually, it's incredibly inconsistent. He made this movie for a $3 million budget, and you can tell that that budget was not equally distributed across the scene, because some scenes look truly beautiful, and others really look like the work of a YouTuber turned filmmaker. But for the most part, the atmosphere is genuinely great. great, and there are strong contrasts within the dark and the light, which make for some pretty stunning shots. But ultimately, it doesn't matter how you shoot it. What's the value in this movie? It's one that's impossible to recommend because its appeal is so niche. There's something about Markiplier that just has to tickle your fancy for you to get any sense of value out of this movie. But if you want to see a guy fix stuff, write stuff, I mean, you can probably do a lot of that stuff in your home. I really wouldn't waste the time going to the movies to watch this. And if my review isn't enough on its own to convince you not to go, then think about this. Why is it that damn near every review about this movie, including my own, won't stop talking about how great of a story it is that Markiplier did himself something good by financing, directing, writing, editing in his own movie? Why is that? Because there truly isn't much else to say about this. You can't talk about the characters, you can't talk about the score, because I mean, there's really not much to say. There's been so much focus on the story of the making of this movie because it's way more interesting than anything that occurs on screen. Many have said that this movie would fare way better with about 20 to 30 minutes shaved off its runtime, but quite honestly, if you shave those 20 minutes off, you could just release that as its own short film and it would be way better than this. And for that, I'm giving this one a 3 out of 10. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for weekly TV and movie reviews. And if you've had the chance to watch Iron Lung, let us know what you thought about it in the comments below. I'm Cinemike, and I'll see you next time.